Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Drop, and this is my first impressions look on the Nike Zoom GT Jump Dose, right? So this is the second iteration of the GT Jump series line. So GT stands for greater than. And it's kind of like, you know, Nike's basketball shoe line, like lineup for serious basketball players, which is kind of weird. But also it's really cool because there's no signature athlete tied to it. So some people, they don't want to have a shoe. Well, I guess like if you're in the NBA, you don't really want to wear a signature shoe that another player is wearing, you know what I mean? Or like that's his shoe because, you know, maybe you're playing against him and you're wearing a shoe. That's kind of weird, right? So anyways, so this shoe retails for $180. Freaking expensive, but the tech is actually really insane. Especially the cushion. So if you guys do want to cop, there are two colorways. There's this colorway and like a black and white colorway. I'll try to leave an affiliate link in the description box, but let's get it started right off with the tracciones. And the traction pattern is pretty cool. They're saying it's a herringbone traction pattern in the tech specs. I guess it is multi-directional as well. But the traction, just trying it on my wood floors, feels pretty damn good, right? So it has a pretty nice stop, which I do like, but there's like zero squeak, which has nothing to do with performance, of course, but you know, I like to have a little squeaky squeak, you know what I mean? Like, nice little high-pitched squeak. But, I mean, the bite seems like it's gonna be very good, right? The only thing, of course, is dust pickup, right? And obviously, I'm gonna need to play in it and test it out to see if it's actually good on a dusty setting. But right now, it seems to be pretty good. The grooves are very well spaced apart. And the one thing that does worry me is the surface area, though, right? So if you look at in the mid-foot area, right, in the middle of the outsole, and also even here, you know, where the high wear area is, where the balls of your feet are, there's not a lot of surface area. It's actually pretty spaced apart, which is good for not picking up a lot of dust, but that's not good for durability because you don't have a lot of surface area, right? And also here in the heel, look at that, super spaced apart. So I am a little bit worried about durability. And also if you like feel the rubber is actually pretty soft, right? Just because the grooves are really thin. You know, it protrudes out a lot, you know, it goes very deep and also it's thin. So I don't think it's gonna be very durable for outdoor use. I mean, it's $180, so probably not the best option, but I mean, if you were to play it on outdoor court, it's probably not the best option. So the traction right now is feeling pretty good so far. It's just, there's no squeak, which kind of makes me sad, right? All right, now moving on to the heel to toe transition. It feels freaking nice and smooth, right? So here in the heel, we have a nice rounded shape and we have a crazy React foam, which has a good amount of compression, which we'll get into. But yeah, that's super soft here in the heel. And then the forefoot, look at how curved, look at that. Look, you just put a little bit of weight here in the forefoot, like the tip of the toe, and just rocks forward. I love that feeling, just in my personal opinion. Actually, it reminds me of the shoe that had the double or triple React. I forgot what it's called. But yeah, that shoe also had a crazy kind of forefoot curve and also a crazy cushioning setup, which this shoe also has. And then here, as far as the flex goes, there's not a whole lot of flex just because there's so much freaking plastic, right? It's pretty stiff. It flexes a little bit though, so that's good, but also like not a huge deal because like I said, it has a lot of curve here in the forefoot, so it's super smooth here as far as the heel to toe transition is. And now moving on to the cushioning setup. The cushioning setup is freaking absolutely insane, guys. So if you're looking for absolute cushion, crazy cushion, this is probably the best, one of the best shoes to get. Obviously, there are some downsides to that, and I'm gonna need to play in it first, but yeah, one of the downsides, of course, is court feel. This shoe is really high up off the ground, like really high. It reminds me of old school LeBrons, like the LeBron 15, LeBron 16. So if you don't care about that, obviously that doesn't matter, but if you want court feel, obviously this is not the shoe to get. Also, this shoe, it does worry me a little bit, but responsiveness does worry me, right? So, because there's a lot of compression, it's super soft, you're high up off the ground, there's a lot of compression and stuff like that. So, I feel like it might not be as responsive, right? But obviously, that's not the target audience for this shoe. But yeah, I mean, obviously, if you want something responsive, like here in the heel, guys, like this React, they're using pure, unadulterated, organic, gluten-free React. This is not like a React carrier or any of that BS. It's just really soft React, and I love pure unadulterated React, you know what I mean? Because it's soft, there's a lot of compression, there's a nice rebound back, and also one thing that I love about React is that it lasts a good amount of time, you know? Like, for example, comparing to like Cushlon, Phylon, those bottom out very quickly, but React actually lasts a lot longer. So yeah, here in the heel, there's a lot of freaking compression, and I really like this setup, you know what I mean? And it kind of reminds me of the Eclipse plate as well, because there's a hole here in the midfoot and also right here. So if you look at the edge of the heel, like in the back, there's this really stiff, tough plastic, and it's really thin, but it's actually very, very stiff. And this plastic literally goes all the way here into the heel, and then it looks like it comes all the way into the forefoot as well, kind of like a cage, you know what I mean? So because, you know, it's like an exoskeleton look, and you know, obviously you have this zoom unit here, or you have two zoom units here in the forefoot. But yeah, here in the heel, it feels really, really nice. I love it. And then here in the forefoot, you have two zoom units. It kind of reminds me of like the Zoom Freak 3, right? So you have two very large volume zoom unit like pods on the bottom in the forefoot, right? But also right underneath your foot, you have a full-length Zoom Strobel unit, which is also obviously super bouncy. There's a good amount of compression. It is articulated, of course, but you know, if you like full-length Zoom Strobel, then the shoe has it. And then as far as the insole goes, the insole, they're using like a very crappy styrofoam type of insole, which I don't like, but that doesn't really matter because you have that full-length Zoom Strobel unit right underneath your foot, right? So coupling the full-length Zoom Strobel with this crazy beefy, really soft React in the heel and these zoom units here in the forefoot, it's really, really crazy, right? I can't really feel the extra bounce yet from the forefoot zoom units. I'm sure I'll be able to feel it once I start playing it and jump around and stuff, but right now, not as much. But also this plastic right here is kind of stiff as well, right? Just like here in the heel. But yeah, this cushion is crazy, right? So if you want something crazy, a lot of, you know, step and comfort, a lot of compression, a lot of bounce, super soft, super comfortable, then it's probably a great option. But if you want like court feel or responsiveness, this probably isn't the best option. So there's that. Moving on to the material. So they're calling this just EM, right? So they're calling it an engineered mesh. And it's literally just a very open mesh underneath, and then on top of that, we have kind of like, it reminds me a little bit of like Leno weave, you know, like the Jordan 36, but like not as plasticky, right? It feels more cloth-like, but this material is really, really thin. Look at that, super duper thin. It conforms to your foot extremely well, but also feels pretty supportive. It doesn't stretch at all. We have fuse. We have one line of fuse going through the middle of the forefoot here, and also a little bit of fuse on the medial side right here, right? And then once we get into the midfoot, it also stays extremely, extremely thin. And then on the lateral side, we have an embroidered swoosh, right? And that also adds a little bit of stiffness to the material here in the midfoot. And also we have these kind of straps, right? You see, like, I guess this, second eyelet? It kind of goes underneath the upper, so you get better support, better durability for the material as well. So it's on the lateral and medial side of the shoe. As far as the tongue goes, we have a mesh material at the bottom of the tongue. And then on top, we have very, very minimal padding. It's a very large tongue as well, and it's a half booty construction tongue, giving you a better overall one-to-one fit, and also keeps the tongue in place. And then here in the ankle area, it's not very well padded. You know what I mean? I mean, there is, I'd say like average padding, and there's also a really crappy, really sad like Achilles pad kind of, or ankle bone pad on the left and right side of the shoe. But yeah, it doesn't really protrude out. It's just kind of like stitched. It doesn't look like they added any type of extra foam or anything. But you know, so for the most part, like this material is really minimal, very, very thin. So I do like that. If you want like a very like beefy, kind of like super cozy material in the upper, then this probably isn't the best option. But for me, I like it. It conforms to my foot overall pretty well. It's just kind of like weird because it's such a big offset from the cushion, right? The cushion, crazy, right? And then you get to the upper and it's like a minimal upper, which is weird. I don't know why. I would have thought they would have wanted to make it like, you know, a little bit more equal. So make it a little bit crazy, a little bit foamy here on top, but they didn't. As far as the quality goes, obviously not the best. It also doesn't feel like it's gonna be very durable. You know what I mean? It's like, especially here in the forefoot and also in the midfoot. And I went for 180 bucks, not the best, but honestly, it feels pretty nice on foot. So there's that. Moving on to the fit, I went up half a size and it actually fits me very, very well. There is a little bit of space lengthwise, right? So if you want a very snug fit lengthwise, go true to size, but I would warn you guys because it's super freaking tight here in the toe box. It's a very, very snug fit, and also widthwise is freaking narrow. I can feel this part squeezing the like my pinky toe a little bit. So yeah, if you have a wide foot, probably go up a full size, because I went up half a size and it's narrow for me, right? So if I went true to size, this would be very, very narrow. I don't know what it is, but I feel like Nike and also other companies are making their fits a little bit roomier, I guess, because I've been going up half a size for a lot of my shoes and it fits me really, really well, all right? But yeah, so I would suggest for most of you guys, if you want a pretty snug fit, then go up half a size. If you want a really snug fit, I would suggest going true to size, but be careful on that. And if you have a wide foot or you want a roomy fit, go up a full size, right? But yeah, for me overall, it does fit me pretty damn well. Now moving on to the support and lockdown. So for lateral containment, it feels like it's gonna be pretty good. So here in the forefoot, we have a little bit of the foam coming up, acting as a sidewall. And then I guess like we have this strap thing going on too. So that's got you covered kinda in the forefoot. And then here in the heel, we have a pretty crazy internal TPU heel counter. It's like pretty stiff. So a lateral containment feels like it's gonna be good. And also lateral stability, look at that. Look at how much this, like the outsole protrudes out. I like that, you know what I mean? So that'll obviously be good for lateral stability, keeping you wide. And also this shoe, I guess, is a high top. So obviously if you want ankle support, that'll be good for you guys. Not a huge fan of it. I like low tops better, but what are you gonna do, right? And now moving on to the weight of the shoe. I mean, it doesn't feel terribly heavy though. You know, so I'm guessing like probably average weight, maybe, not actually, no, probably 13 maybe ounces, I'm guessing. Oh no, 14 ounces, 14 ounces. I don't know why, but it doesn't feel terribly heavy. But yeah, 14 ounces, and the other shoe is 13.85 ounces. So yeah, obviously that's pretty heavy. The average weight of my shoes is around 12.5 ounces, but for how much cushion you get, it doesn't feel terrible. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, and also the material feels really thin, you know, it feels very minimal as far as the upper goes. So there's that. And as far as the aesthetics go, it's okay. I don't think it's a terrible looking shoe. You know, also another thing that I don't get is why would you put the foam on the outside of the freaking shoe? What does this do? Why do designers do this, right? I wonder, like, wouldn't you want it on the inside, right? Maybe it gives you a little bit more support. Doesn't like, it makes it so that the material here in the ankle area is a little bit more rigid. Maybe that's it. I don't know. But anyways, aesthetics, it's alright. Tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, yeah, it feels very, very similar to the Zoom GT Jump, like the original one, but with subtle differences, right? So if you like the Zoom GT Jump, like the original one, but you want a little bit more cushion, then yeah, this shoe is probably the best shoe to get, because it seems like it has one of the craziest cushioning setups right now, right? Obviously, if you're a guard, probably not the best, but if you're like a bigger dude, then this will probably be a good option. But I am pretty excited to try them out. Hopefully it's not too crazy as far as the cushion goes, like the compression, so that I don't feel like laggy or slow, you know, because like I said, it's a very soft cushion. So anyways, that's my first impressions of the Zoom GT Jump 2. Again, if you guys do want to call up, I'll try to leave the link in the description box, but that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.